Hey guys, welcome to another episode of ClyphX Pro Q&A. In this episode, I want to address a topic that comes up every once in a while, and that's related to the fact that the actions in an action list are performed nearly simultaneously. We'll look at why that's desirable in most cases, and what to do in cases where it's not desirable. So let's jump in. First, let's take a look at this all mute action. Even though this looks like one action, it's actually not. It's going to be triggered for each track in the set. So in this case, that's 4 tracks, 2 regular tracks and 2 returns. But if we had 300 tracks in the set, it would be triggered 300 times. In any case, we want the mute switches of all the tracks in the set to be toggled simultaneously, and that's what we get. All right, and when doing most things in ClyphX Pro, that's the behavior we want. We want things to happen simultaneously, but sometimes we don't. And here's an example of that. Now in this action list, we want to select the second track, we want to load amp onto it, and then we want to turn amp off. Right now, that's not going to work. Let's see. Okay, so the first 2 actions work correctly. We selected the track and we loaded amp onto it, but amp didn't turn off. The reason for that is because it takes a little time for devices to be loaded. So the off action is actually occurring before amp exists on the track. We have a very simple fix for that, and that's the wait action. All right, so what we'll do is, first of all, let's delete amp here, and then we will change this so that we're going to wait 200 milliseconds before we do our off action. Let's try that now. Okay, now amp is turned off how we want it to. It can also be used in other ways to sort of sequence actions. Let's take a look here. So what we'll have here is we're going to toggle the mute state of the first track, then wait 500 milliseconds, and then toggle the mute state of the second track. So sort of a little sequence happening there. All right, here we're doing the same thing, but we're using waits with an S instead. And waits is actually synced to live's tempo. So we're going to have a 1 bar wait before it toggles the mute state of the second track. And we can also have wait or waits as the first action in our action list. In this way, the action list does nothing initially, waits a little bit of time, and then does whatever you want it to do. In this case, toggling the mute state of track 2. So I hope that gave you some insight into the wait-related actions, and also some ideas on how you can use them creatively. As always, please keep the questions coming, and I'll see you in the next episode.